Okay, 7:20, Saturday morning, whatever the date. We're now leaving Karajini and we're going to head to Port Hedland and do a little bit of shopping, I think. And then I think I'll go to Cape, what I call Carodron, but I was corrected by Kayleen in the visitor centre here, who said it's actually Cape Croydon, but it's spelt Carodron. Anyway, what's in a name? Just depends on the school you went to, I guess. We've just passed what is called the Albert Tongnolini lookout, and you drive down through this valley and it's just beautiful. I know I've had it on video before, but it's so spectacular I've got to do it again. We're about 278 k's from Port Hedland right now, travelling north on, as you can see, a beautiful Saturday morning. Straight ahead of us you can see Nipple Mountain. No explanation needed as to why it was named that. Beautiful. But I don't know if you can see, but if you look closely at the sides of these hills, and you'll see all these little tiny green bushes, okay? Now, they're like a, well, I think they're a spinifex, but they were actually the inspiration for the Aboriginal dot paintings, because that's how they saw them. They saw this land in like pixelations, and that's exactly what it looks like. So when you see those Aboriginal dot paintings, that's the inspiration for them. Roadhouse coming up. I think I'll stop here, and my phone is going beep 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 because I've been out of range for 2 days. Mungina, and out to the right is the Roy Hill mine, which is out Skull Springs roadway. Tourists here. Quality fuels, where's me diesel? Unleaded. Over there, where's diesel? Diesel. I always put the diesel everywhere else. This way. Go round, fuel only. Fuck. I want diesel, and this clown has got his car parked there. Shit. This annoys me, this does. This sort of shit. Tourists. I'm a tourist. Fuel only, another short. Well, I'm just leaving that Aussie Roadhouse. That was a really experience because, look, there's a truck coming. Because of this mining, it's so busy, and now they want you to provide ID before you can pump fuel. So you've got to go in there. There's a queue a mile long, and that's why the cars were all built up. You know, you would think that in this day and age, people could organise something a little bit more streamlined than what they seem to have. And I'm not decrying the people that work in there because they're excellent, but it's just government has made them, due to COVID, do all this thing. And the other point, of course, that I want to make, and this is a rant, is they put out QR codes that don't bloody well work up here if you haven't got a telephone connection. And I walked in there, tried to do my QR code, nothing happens. Sign in with a password. Who can remember passwords these days? Sorry, end of rant. Well, that was an interesting experience there. That was Aussie Roadhouse, and I got a bit peed off because I thought, well, here's all these tourists blocking up the lanes, but it turns out that it's actually the system that they have in place because of COVID, and also because of security of or theft concerns that they have, that you have to first go in and give them some sort of ID, either your driver's license or a credit card or whatever, and then they ask you which fuel thing you're on, and then you go out and they release the fuel pump to you and you fill up, and then you come back in, and then you stand in a huge queue to pay, because you then have to go past the Bain Maries and all of that sort of thing. And that's why people have left their cars parked in front of the damn things. It's not really their fault, and I ended up doing the same thing. So I was a bit pissed off, and I understand what's going on, but you would think in this day and age that businesses would be able to streamline it just a little bit. Employ somebody to say, look, this is this thing, do this, or move your car. It didn't happen, but anyway, we're on the road, but it's just adds to the stress that you really don't need. I was having a perfect day up until the time there, and I probably could have even made it to Port Hedland without having to refuel, but you think, no, you'll do the locals a favour, and it blows up in your face. Apparently, while I've been in Karajini, there was a gentleman flew into Perth from Shanghai, China, apparently went into quarantine, was tested negative, jumped on an aeroplane, went to Melbourne, and then came back to Perth or whatever. I don't know the full story because I only got it second hand from Kay this morning. But apparently now the whole of Perth and down to Mandurah is under lockdown. I don't know how long that'll be. Thankfully, I'm a couple of thousand k's north, and I hope that little virus that guy was spreading hasn't blown up on the wind this far. The thing that does make me question a little bit is the fact that there seem to be a lot of Asian tourists, not that I'm racist against Asians, but there seem to be an awful lot of them that don't speak English, who are travelling around the outback right now. And I start to wonder, how did you get here? There's a point to ponder. We're supposed to be, Australians cannot leave this country, apparently, and yet we're still allowing tourists to come in here. Doesn't work out as far as I'm concerned. These are the road trains that transport the iron ore across to Port Hedland. And I'm going to try and get through, but there's a guy coming behind and he knows better. So I'll let him go first. He can pave the way. just been some rain. It's beautiful and green. Oh, there's a cow that didn't make it. I just pulled into this 24-hour roadside stop about 180 k's from Port Hedland, out towards the Carragini way. And it's really interesting. It probably was an old gravel pit, but very well laid out. It's a 24-hour stop called Two Camel Creek. There are shelters all over the place, huge area, gravelled area. So those who have caravans would love this place. And it has a drop dunny, as you can see there off to the left. And rubbish bins all over the place. Really well set up, this one. Not much good if you have to pitch a tent and put tent poles in the ground, but I think that's becoming a thing of the past, really. And the other good thing about it is it's actually off the road. You can see that car going there, but we're driving out now. It was a little bit of a drive to get in here from the road. But hey, I'm impressed, and it takes a bit to impress me. Oh, got to put the air conditioner on now. I've succumbed to the temptation. I must admit, it's stinking hot out here. I must be getting old. Anyway, this is the drive out from the Two Camel Creek 24-hour rest area. So if you were coming up from Perth or somewhere and you fueled up in Port Hedland and you were heading out towards Carragini and it was getting late in the day, this would be a pretty good place to stop. Okay, so I'll turn this off now because I'm about to just turn right and turn right again, and we're back on the highway towards Port Hedland. We've had a left lane for about over a kilometre and we've got a caravan in the right lane. And people wonder why I don't like the bloody things. I really don't like caravans. Caravans are probably great. It's the frickin' idiots that drive them, that tow them. They have no consideration, apparently, for other people. That guy could quite as easily have pulled over to the left-hand lane and let that ute in front of me go, but no, he persisted and then put his foot down. He did the same when I went to pass him as well. Okay, this is we're coming into Port Hedland. Port Hedland is the town built on iron ore, apparently, and there are two sides to it. There's South Headland, which is off to the right, which I'll be going to shortly, and there is the old port, which I'm going to go into, and we'll just have a little bit of a look around while I get my bearings again. South Headland, I know, is where you can go and do your shopping, which is what I ultimately want to do, but I'm also looking, I might actually get a motel here. I did once before, and stop for the day, do some washing and just chill out generally. All told, it's not a very attractive place. I suppose the locals would tend to argue the point with me, but it seems to me that the only reason you'd want to live here is to make a pot of money to retire on. Fortunately, I don't have to, so I don't have to live here. But we'll do a little bit of a tour around and see. A lot will have changed since I was here 4 years ago. It's now 2021 and I was here in 2017. And it looks like all the roadworks are finished because I'm driving on Parliament. And this sign says we're on our way to Port pans where they're making salt. Now we're heading in towards the port. I'm following a road train. He obviously knows where he's going, because I don't. It did say town centre was this way. Yes, it does. Oh no, I've just missed it. See what a stupid little signpost that was. I just missed the signpost. Oh well. I do remember I must have made the same mistake the last time, because over here on the right is a little BP service station which I filled up in. I'm going to do a U-turn though, because I don't want to go that way. Go. Ultimate. Gone the wrong way. Oh dear. I'll stop back later. Now it said town centre to the left. We go further left. I'm going to let this guy go. Karen, I'm not going your way, I'm going my way. We're doing a tour. This must be one of the main streets, and it's as dead as a maggot because it's Saturday and this is a holiday weekend apparently. Well, it is, I know, because it's Anzac Day coming up. So there's not an awful lot happening in downtown Port Hedland right now. So we'll do another roundabout. Is it a roundabout or not? No, it's not. Okay, that's the port over there. Let me have a look. This is a car parking area. No camping. I don't want to camp here, sorry. Oh, ships. Okay, I'm going to stop this and I'll get the other camera out. We'll just have a little bit of a wander. Now this is a sight I don't get to see every day. This is a ship called the Stella Naomi, obviously a bulk carrier, being escorted or towed out of port. Very high on the plimsoll.
who took behind him. Brand spanking clean. Probably a couple of weeks on.
So what we've been watching is actually the tugs putting this ship into its berth so that we'll be loaded with iron ore so we can send it to China. And Xi Jinping will be so pleased. He'll be able to make a few more tanks, or battleships, or aeroplanes. What I'm passing here, you'll see coming out the window, is what they call the landing resort, and they want $230 a night for it, with all meals included, I might admit. And it's a dive. It's right opposite the airport. I cannot believe that they can get away with something like this. It's basically a truck stop with hundreds of little caravans, self-contained so-called caravans, which are probably quite nice. But I mean, that's opposite an airport. I can't believe that. So I'm on my way to Cape Caraudra. Woo! I was having a perfect day until I got to Oski Roadhouse this morning, and everything then, since then, has turned to shit. I thought I'll go to Port Hedland, get a nice motel, because I had stayed in a nice motel before, but with all the development of iron ore up here, it just seems like the mining industry has taken over and they give shit accommodation to all their workers. They just put up crap, dongers, and the tourists can go to hell. So I'm going to hell, I'm leaving it. Just to add to my woes, we've been stuck here about 5 minutes because the gates have gone down. They're doing some sort of maintenance. I don't see a train, and the truckies are starting to blow their horns. The natives are starting to get restless. Here we go, I think. They're letting them go. Yes, here we go. Look, we've got slow after 10 minutes. Great, thanks guys. Nothing's happening. Let's hope we don't get hit by a bloody train. Distance, I hope you can see it, is Nipple Peak. That's the sister to Nipple Mountain.